Yeah, hi everyone. Thank you for that. I'll just share my screen. So I know you've just split into EMIS and System 1 rooms with Accurx. The functionality is exactly the same regardless of which system you're using. It just changes slightly what information you need from your reports. So I will be using System 1 today, but yeah, everything should be mostly the same, and I'll explain when it's a little bit different. Um, yeah, this is what we've got to go over today. So obviously you've just been talking about how to pull a report of patients that then need to be sent the message. So makes sense to just move on to sending that message to patients. So I'll go through creating a template with an attachment, how to actually send that message to a list of patients. And then we also do have another pathway that's been set up for practices just in the individual messaging system. So I'll go through that in a little bit of detail as well. And yeah, I can also talk through any other functionality as it comes. But I appreciate we're a bit short on time, so I won't go on to that too much. But I just wanted to let you know as well, we do have a support team here at Accurx who you can chat to at any time. I think it's 8 until 8 on weekdays, 9 till 5 on Saturdays, and 9 till 1 on Sundays. So if you ever are in the middle of actioning any of these things and you can't quite remember how to do something or something doesn't seem right, you can always chat to our live support team to try and get that looked at instantly. We do also have an email address here, so it's customer.success@accurx.com. You can always send an email to that email address as well if you need any extra support with anything. But if we move on, so obviously I have my toolbar at the top here to initially create a template for a message. There's a couple of ways that I can access that. So the first way is just by clicking on my initials in the toolbar and coming down to Manage Organization. And that opens up your practice's kind of homepage with Accurx. So I'll just move the camera. And this is that little chat box that I was referring to earlier. This is where you can access all of the different products that you have through Accurx. So you have got this batch messaging button here to draw you in, but we've also got templates and Flurry questionnaires. So if you're going to be sending a message to patients by batch or individual messaging, you can create a template so that it's a much quicker process every time you go to do it. To create a template, all you need to do is click on this button here. But it's worth noting you will have a tab for your own templates, so templates that you personally have created, templates that someone else in your practice has created. So these are accessible for everyone in the practice, and templates that have been created by Accurx. So you'll be able to scroll through all of these and you can either have them available for individual messaging only, batch messaging only, or for both. But if we go back to creating a new template, first thing to do is give it a name. So yeah, just to make it easy for you to find. I'll just use fit as an example for now, but you can write anything that you want in there. And another new feature that we've just released is this category option. So if you wanted to make sure that all templates are in one place for a specific thing, then you can add a category. I actually have one already set up for Arden, so I could use that as an example. That means that all the templates related to Arden's reports that we will be exporting for any recalls will be in the same place, so that makes it easier for them to find. But you can add any category you want, you just need to type it in, and that will be organized in the Manage Templates section. I can then fill in the message, so it will always address the patient's name and it will always be signed off by the person who is sending the message with the name of the practice. You can add any information here that you'd like, so you can use this section for any safety netting that you need for the patient. You can give them any extra information, but one thing that we've just released as well, which is really exciting, is you have the ability to attach a document to the template. So then every time you send this template, there will always be an attachment linked. So if I just put test in for the sake of time, yeah, you can write whatever you'd like in there. But then you can just add the attachment. So I've got a patient leaflet, detailing how patients should complete the test. So I can just attach that file to this message, and again, can give any extra information you'd like in that point. Be good to be aware of also, there is this character counter here. So just to keep that in mind if you're sending a message to quite a few people. There's always this reminder as well to make sure that you've actually sent the right thing or attached the right thing. So you can always click on the link to open it and just double check that it's correct, and you can remove it quite easily by using the cross there. I also have the option of adding a SNOMED code for the specific situation. So you can add, if you want to have a SNOMED code applied to all patients who have been sent this reminder, for example, then you can add that in. We have a list of all different SNOMED codes here, and you can just search if you'd like to. If there's something that you can't find here, so you don't think that there will be the perfect SNOMED code, but you know it exists, then you can always, again, chat to our support team and they can look at adding that for you. If I just choose a random one for now, just to show you what it looks like, you can again remove that as well if you've selected the wrong one. Then you get to choose, how you want this template to be sent. So if we just want this one to be sent as a batch message, so we just want this one to be sent to multiple patients as part of this recall process, we don't need it sent to individual patients, then you can just select batch there, and it just means that it won't be showing when you're sending individual messages to patients. But if I'm happy with that, I can, save it, and it's now in this list of templates. As you'll see, as I mentioned before, we do have this Ardens section at the top. So all of our Ardens templates are all there together. Obviously, I've made this available for myself. I can copy it to the organisation if I think everyone in the practice will need to use this. You just click that button there and that copies it. And it just gives you the option to, again, recategorize it if you'd like to put it into a different category. Now to get back to batch messaging, there's a few ways you can get back to that kind of home page just by clicking this link here. You can also, if you're on your toolbar again, we've got batch messaging as an option because it's, obviously something that a lot of people go straight to. So if I click that, that takes me to our batch messaging homepage. So this is where you can see all of the batch messages that have been set up in the practice. So everyone in the practice has sent all of these, and you can see the details of what was sent, how many patients maybe didn't receive the message or it failed to deliver, and you can click this View Details button to see a bit more information as well. But in order to just send a batch message, all you need to do is click this blue button here. And then you get to select what type of message you'd like to send. So you do have the option of sending a self-book link to patients if you're wanting them to, a group of patients to all book in for an appointment. You can also send flow questionnaires to patients. So if you wanted to gather some information from patients en masse, then you can send them all a flow questionnaire. But in this situation, we're just wanting to send just a message with that attachment. So if I select message, I get to select my templates. So again, these are organized with the categories that we used earlier. So I can see this template is right at the top. Just because I've created this template, I can of course edit it at any point. So you can type into this section if you think it doesn't look quite right or you'd like to change something about it. But once you're happy with the message, you can just double check the attachment as well. There is this little bin button here. So if you needed to remove that attachment for whatever reason, then you can click that and you can add another attachment. The SNOMED code has been automatically added based from the template, and you do also have the option to either save this to the record or not. So anytime you're sending any messages through Accurx, you have a look, you can untick this box so that you aren't saving things to the record. We know with some practices they really don't want to have these kind of messages saved, so we wanted to make sure everyone has the ability to choose what they'd prefer. But if I'm happy with all of this, I now move on to adding a patient list. So you just need to then upload a CSV file. As I mentioned, there is some slight differences based on whether you're using EMIS or System 1 for pulling that report. So if you're using EMIS, all you need to do is make sure that the CSV file has an NHS number and an EMIS number, and then the other information will be pulled through. But if you're using System 1, you need to make sure that it has NHS number, a mobile number, date of birth, and the name of the patient as well. If you're at this point and you're a bit stuck of how to make sure that you've got that information, we do have a step-by-step guide on that. But again, you can always chat to our support team as well. But if I have my document ready, I can upload that. So you can see I've got the file here. And then it will immediately start pulling the information from that report. So you can see there were 9 patients on that list. 3 patients automatically I can see have mobile numbers, so we can send the message to those. There were 6 patients on that list who don't have a phone number on attached. So with all of these patients, we won't be able to send the message to them. So that's something to be aware of straight away. You can download this list just by clicking download list, and then you'll be able to see the details of those patients, and you can then either update their details and come back to this page, or you could send them communications a different way. If I'm happy that these 3 patients are going to be sent the message, then I can just click continue. I now get the choice to select when this message will be sent. So if maybe I'm getting ahead for the day and I'm sending this message at say 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, and I don't actually want patients to receive it at that time, then I can select a later time to for the message to be sent. So you can choose any time. It doesn't have to be later on today. It can be whenever you want to send this message, and just select an hour that you'd like that message to be sent. If I choose now, the other thing you can do at this stage is stagger the messaging. So if you have quite a few patients that you're sending this message to, and you're a bit concerned that they might call the practice, so you want to make sure that they're kind of staggered and it's not everyone coming through at once, then you can click this staggered sending, and then you just populate how many days you'd like this to be staggered over, so that then it will be split evenly. Obviously, with 3 patients, it's a bit difficult to stagger, so I will switch that off for now. But if I'm happy with everything, then I get to review the message, so I can double check that this is going to 3 patients. I've got the content of the message there and the SNOMED code and the attachment, and there's just another reminder that this is being saved to the clinical record, and your clinical record does need to be open, or your clinical system needs to be open when you're sending the message in order for this to save. I click send. That has started sending. So you'll see now it's added to the top of this list here of the messages that have been sent. Once it starts going, you can see the details of messages that have been received, messages that have failed to deliver. And with messages that have failed to deliver, that usually means the patient is maybe out of reception or has their phone switched off, so the message couldn't be automatically kind of flagged as delivered. And again, you will be able to download a list of those patients. So you can see another one that was sent earlier in the month. If I click view details, then I can see that 2 messages were delivered, and I can, if I click this anywhere on this number, then I will be able to download a list of those patients who have received the message. But I can also see 1 patient the message failed to deliver, so I can click that and download that list as well, and then I can make sure that that patient is reached a different way. And that is kind of batch messaging in, oh gosh, it's my system 1. Oh, it's still open. What's going on there then? I think that's maybe just a bit weird going on. My toolbar, so it does seem to be a bit funny. Anyway, we are in a demo environment in System 1, and it can be a bit funky sometimes. But yeah, so that is sending a batch message in general. As I mentioned, you can also see all the previous messages that have been sent. So if you want to just double check if anyone else has sent anything, you can see the details of other messages that have been sent to patients, and you can see, download those lists as well. So that's something to be aware of. If you are scheduling messages, there is also this tab here where you can see the scheduled messages, and if they're queued, you can cancel them. And then you can also see all of the sent messages as well. You can see here. Now, just to quickly go into the fit pathway now. Sorry, I realized oh gosh. Okay, I might not be able to show you that. Sorry, it's always helpful when the demo environment kind of crashes in the middle of demonstration. So that might be all that I can show you, but what I can do is send you some information about the other tools that we have available. So one thing to just bear in mind is with the fit pathway specifically, we do have a pathway set up in your compose a message section. So if you're going to see an individual patient, say if you have just spoken with a patient who then needs to have the produce the fit sample, there is a staggered message where you're reminding the patient to bring that sample back. So we have a help article. Oh, actually, I can probably find it here. I can show you at least what it looks like. And I can send you this page as well, so you can read a bit more about it yourself. But it, goes through how to send the pathway to the patient, and I can show you what it looks like. So all you need to do is open up the message a patient screen, and just if you search fit, it will come up. But you can also use this button here to just pull through all of the different pathways that are available. So also, just to be clear, with a pathway, that is a series of messages that are kind of scheduled at once, so that patients get a reminder without you having to then go in and send them a follow-up message. You can see here we've got the initial message that goes on the day of the appointment to let them know that they need to return the sample, and has a link to some instructions of how to complete that. And then there is a follow-up message to say, just to remind them that they need to return that. You can also edit those messages when you are about to send them. But sorry, that was a bit of a not quite as smooth at the end. But that's hopefully been quite useful, and also I can send some more information after this call as well.